gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It is Friday, and we got a big weekend. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on WagerTalk Today. Dan, get on in here. Give us the rundown. What do we got today?
Dude, we got a terrific
Teddy.
show. If you're not, well, you know that Teddy's going to be on. It's Friday, baby. Here we go. I just wanted to give you a little taste of what TC has coming your way. We're going to talk NBA play-in and playoffs. I have a edition of the NBA Sell Me segment that I think people are going to want to tune in because you have a chance to win up to let's just say there will be a terrific giveaway coming your way, an NBA Sell Me today with Teddy and Andy. We're also going to talk these two games that are tonight. It's Hornets, Magic, Warriors, Suns. Get Teddy's thoughts on those. He has a best bet over at his page that you can check out. And then Marco D'Angelo, he's going to come on. The Derby is right around the corner. What do you need to know about betting that? And what do you need to know about betting the Rangers versus the Mariners and the Blue Jays versus the Diamondbacks tonight? You like overs? You like unders? Well, you might just have both when we talk to Marco D'Angelo today. Andy, we got a Wager Talk Today play of the day, looking to make it 3 straight in that, giving out the free play right here at the top, and you'll take you all around the world, all that and more. So hang out with us, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it, brother.
The Yankees, yet again, cannot cover a run line. Blown off the field. It's getting bad.
Song as old as time. Yeah,
it's getting
as
bad.
Old as time.
Well, let's do the play of the day.
Yeah,
and let's see if we can finish 3 winners in a row. We get there. I mean, the line move saved us. We had Castillo.
It did because this is what we had yesterday on the show.
Yeah,
and it saved us.
Well, so it moved to 16.5, and that was what we ended up with was the 16.5. And sure enough, he got there. So we got a little bit fortunate with that. But we're gonna go to a team total today.
Let's do it.
So we're gonna go to the Washington Nationals, and we're gonna take their over 3.5 team total. Not only was I pleasantly surprised to see it was 3.5, not 4.5, I was even more pleasantly surprised to see this was not heavy juice when I looked at this. So getting close to even money on this one. And here's what I like about it, Dan. At home, they've been fantastic. Scored 5+ runs in 5 out of 6 home games this season. They scored 5+ in 5 out of their last 7. That was against Pittsburgh and Milwaukee on the road. And they get a good matchup here against Logan Webb. He has one good start this year. That was against the Mets, who are one of the worst offenses in the league. They have 3 runs in their last 4 games. And the other 3 games, he kind of got lit up. 17 innings, 13 earned runs. It's a good spot for the Nationals that they're just involved in a lot of overs because their pitching is not very good, but their bats have been really good this year. So let's ride the bats of the Washington Nats and go over 3.5.
You know, you got me with the alliteration, man. I was already down, but when we get the bats with the Nats, I'm all on board. Let's make it 3 straight with the Wager Talk Today play of the day. Free play every show right here at the top for you guys, and we're going with a nice one there. So let's make it 3 straight, Andy. Let's go, baby.
All right, let's bring in Teddy Covers. NBA postseason is here, so we got to break down a couple of the play-in games. Teddy, happy Friday. How are you, sir?
Well, good morning, boys. I'm okay. It hasn't been a great week for me. It hasn't been a great month in April so far. You know, what do we do when we're not running real good? And I'm running bad, man. I'm like, I'm running. We're good after the halftime. We're good after 3 quarters. We're good halfway through the 4th, and then. Guess what? We're going to give up 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. I mean, that's sometimes you go through stretches like that. I know you guys out there in viewer land have done it. I know you've done it, Andy and Dan as well. And when that happens, it's really important. I took yesterday off. There wasn't a lot on the card. I'm like, I'm just taking today off. We're going to mentally reset and come back because this is the time of year I expect to make money. I really do. The NBA postseason has been good for me and my clients over the years. And when you run a little bit bad, sometimes you breathe, look in a different direction for a minute, come back, reset. I'm looking to fire away this weekend, my friend. I'm looking to make some money for myself and my clients and bounce off of this crappy little stretch we've had to open the month.
Well, it's Bounce Back Friday. Let's do it. So we're going to get to the games, but the big question, who you got? Who you got to win it all? What are we looking at here? Forget the odds. I don't want to hear about the odds. Just give me who you like to win it all.
The winner of the Thunder Spurs.
Fair.
Makes sense.
That's who I got.
Do you believe that this? You know what? I'm gonna go for a curveball. There's something magical about this Boston Celtics team. I think there's a chance they can run through the East. And what's kind of crazy about it is, Tatum coming back from the Achilles. There's a chance they might be the healthiest team. That Western Conference playoff run could be pretty brutal for whoever comes out of the West. And as we see every year, who's healthy? So a roll of the dice on the Boston Celtics that the East just doesn't end up as brutal as these teams in the West. Sometimes they just cannibalize each other. So I'll go out on a limb and pick the Celtics. So let's get.
You were asking me about if I thought San Antonio that they have enough experience or that they're good enough.
Yeah, it's the only question you have about this team, or that I think there is about this team. Do you believe in it?
I believe it's a concern. I also believe that as a team starts to win playoff series, the confidence comes around pretty fast. And the Spurs are extremely talented, and they're the only team with a good track record against OKC that's proven they can beat the Thunder. Does that make them a lot? Hell no, it doesn't make them. I mean, the Thunder are still favored and deserve to be favored. And maybe OKC is the undervalued commodity that we're not because it's not a team that has captured the attention of the betting public the way that other previous champions have. So you can make an argument that OKC is the most undervalued team in the mix right here. But I do think that San Antonio, in a 7-game series against the Thunder, they're live, because are they going to win it? I don't know, but they're live. They're not going to be outclassed, and it's not a matchup that they can't handle. They've shown us that throughout the course of the regular season. They certainly showed us that down the stretch of the second half of the campaign.
Let's go to the play-in games tonight. We're going to talk Warriors and Suns, but first I want to get your take on this Hornets and Magic game. This Magic team just really, really confusing, tough to pick. But this Hornets team -3.5 over under only 218.5 feels low for a Hornets game. They seem to be involved in a lot of shootouts. Who do you like in this one?
So when we talk about totals that seem low, all right, we spend a lot of time thinking about offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency. One of the things we don't always think about when it comes to these totals is pace. And when it comes to pace, post All-Star break, there's some really interesting numbers to consider for this one. Namely, the Charlotte Hornets rank number 29 in the NBA after the All-Star break when it comes to pace. We think of the Hornets as up and down the court and lighting up the scoreboard. But in fact, from a possessions per game standpoint, that's not been their MO. And with a lead, Charlotte has certainly done a good job of slowing games down. This is an Orlando team that just hung 97 in Philadelphia and stayed under the total. In fact, they cashed 3 straight unders to close out the regular season. They hung 108 in Boston. They're a team offensively that's just been disjointed for extended stretches this season. The Magic are going to get past Charlotte tonight. Their emphasis got to be on the defensive end of the floor. It's got to be about pace and defense, because the offense is very, very janky between these two teams. Now, I'm in play on the side for the clients in this one. I'll give you the side play that I'm on for the clients in Phoenix and Golden State. But in this one, I got the side for the clients. Total-wise, I'm absolutely looking at the under. And you talked about it, Andy. You're like, boy, this total feels low. Let's remember, this is a playoff game. Winners in, losers out. All right, there's no higher stake game than what we're seeing tonight. And what happens in games like this, especially if they're close, the pace slows to a crawl in the second half. If I'm playing over, maybe I'll play first half over. But full game, this has underwritten all over it, pun intended, a game where I do expect the pace to really slow down after halftime. And if this isn't a foul fest, if we aren't seeing, free throw on possession after possession in the fourth, this does not have the feel of one of these 70-point fourth quarters that we've seen in some of these play-in games. So look for Charlotte and Orlando State under the total, a low-scoring affair in Orlando tonight.
We move to the Warriors and the Suns. We get a magical Steph Curry performance. Don't know how many more of these we're going to get of him in the playoffs. He goes to the locker room, and you're like, oh, no, is Steph done? He comes out, goes ballistic, sends the Clippers home, and also sends the Clippers draft pick to Oklahoma City. That was another funny element of that game. They play the Suns tonight. So who we got here? Warriors and Suns.
So again, right now, looking at the odds logic live odds screen, Phoenix -3 / -3.5. And it's important to note for both playoff games tonight, if you want the favorite, you can lay -3. If you want the underdog, you can take +3.5. Both lines, I'll call them widely available as we're on air on WagerTalk Today this morning, at least this morning here on the left coast. And that's so key for these postseason games. No, every game's not going to come down to having the best half point. But over the course of this postseason, you better believe, if you're getting the half point, the best of it versus the half point, the worst of it, it's going to make a difference in your record. It's going to make a difference in your potential profitability. And that's the beauty of the Odds Logic live odds screen. You can see where and when to bet at any given moment. oddslogic.com/Teddy gets you a free 7-day trial for the Odds Logic live odds screen. Golden State and Phoenix tonight. Again, 3 / 3.5. Total sitting in this game, 219.5 / 220. And I will give the Golden State Warriors credit for putting on a truly impressive shooting performance against the Clips in the second half, and in particularly in that fourth quarter. I mean, I had a ticket betting against Golden State in that ballgame. Got to say, I felt pretty good. They were down 13 in the fourth and looking like they were going to go home. And they put together, it wasn't just Steph Curry. All right. Guy Santos hitting threes. Al Horford, not 1, not 2, not 3. He hit 4 of them. Porzingis hitting threes and a 3-point play. I believe they scored, it was like something on 16 out of 17 possessions down the stretch. I mean, Golden State had truly a magical offensive showing, a throwback game. Everything broke right for them down the stretch. And this was not one of Ty Lue's better games when it comes to making defensive adjustments. Now, in theory, they could do that again tonight against Phoenix. All right. The Suns did not play their best basketball down the stretch by any stretch of the imagination. They didn't play their best basketball down the stretch the other night against Portland when the Blazers rallied and beat them right here in Phoenix. So it's not like the Suns are a juggernaut, but the performance that Golden State laid down the other night, fourth quarter, I don't think that's repeatable. I don't think that's sustainable. And when you look at the Warriors over the back half of the campaign, they're just not that good a team. I think the performance in front of the fans on Wednesday night, that was the swan song. And I would expect Golden State to go home after losing to the Phoenix Suns tonight, probably by margin.
I mean, it's such a ragtag team at this point. Al Horford and Porzingis.
Horford was the best player on the floor for 7 minutes of the fourth quarter. I mean, and that can happen one night. It can, and it will, but it doesn't, not necessarily a harbinger of things to come.
Oh, the ageless Al Horford. Incredible. So, all right. It's time to do Sell Me. And Dan, you have cooked up something very special, I believe.
He's going to make me pick the Blazers. I can tell it already.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this one, guys. No, don't worry. We'll make you play the Blazers. But guys, this is a chance for folks to win and win big, because how we're going to do this, I'm going to give you guys a series to break down. You're going to have to tell me who will win this series. And I think it's actually maybe more intriguing than some people may think. So here's the series that we're talking, and then we'll explain to people how they can win some free 3-day flex passes. It's the Atlanta Hawks taking on the New York Knickerbockers. And the way that this is going to work, guys, Teddy is going to have a side and Andy is going to have a side. This series could potentially go 7 games, maybe. And if it does, every time the team that you ride with and the capper that you ride with wins a game in this series, boom, you're winning a free 3-day flex pass if you comment correctly. Now, you obviously are going to be entered in to win this free 3-day flex pass. Let's say 20 people ride with Andy and 20 people ride with Teddy. You're one of 20 that have potentially up to 7 chances to win. So that's how you're going to be able to win, folks. But how are we betting these games? Teddy, this scrappy ragtag team of the Atlanta Hawks that when Trae Young left, they seemed to get better. That's who you're going to have to sell me on. And this Knicks team, Andy, that can never quite seem to get out of their own way, that's who you are selling me on. And that's where we'll start, Andy. We'll start off with you and the Knicks as they are the series favorite, although this game projected out of all of these series to be one of the closer ones. So, Andy, why are the Knicks winning this series?
So, first off, the Knicks are going to win the series because they have the best player. And that just means a lot in the NBA. Jalen Brunson is probably going to be the best player in this league or in this series. And while Alexander has been an absolutely incredible, pleasant surprise, I just don't trust him to run the offense and run the team like the Knicks are going to be able to do with Brunson. Yes, the Hawks got better without Trae Young, but they also benefited from a very weak schedule on the back end. And the fact is they won 46 games and the Knicks won 43. When we look at the defense over the last 15 games, the New York Knicks were 13th in defense and 8th in offense. That's a really, really good combination showing they can get it done on the defensive side and the offensive side. They're the favorites for a reason. They've got the home court, and the home court advantage that you get in New York when that crowd gets going, this Knicks team responds to it. You always got to worry about the inconsistencies of Karl Anthony Towns, but he's always going to give you these 2 or 3 randomly amazing games where he stays out of foul trouble, hits a bunch of threes, and gets in there. I think this Hawks team is going to be really good next year, but I think they benefited from a pretty weak schedule at the last part of the year. Hawks are feisty. I think they can win a couple games. I would take the Knicks to win the series 4-2.
Boom, 4-2. Yes, when things are going right in New York, that crowd is raucous. When things are going wrong, it can be a place that you don't want to be, which is what Teddy is hoping, because Teddy has to sell us on the Atlanta Hawks to upset the Knicks and win this series. Teddy, easier said than done, or do you like this?
So, I mean, the mayor of New York City is already throwing shade on Atlanta, or at least on Trae Young. So if Mondani's going for the Knicks, clearly I'm going for the Hawks. I
like that. Start off strong.
Yeah. So the reality of the Atlanta-New York matchup, the reality of this postseason series, I wish it was a second-round series because then it'd be an easier argument. But young and hungry wins in the postseason. We think, oh, the playoff experience. The Knicks won a couple series last year. The Knicks are proven postseason losers. All right. They fired Tibbs and brought in Mike Brown. You got to win series. Good luck with that against a team that's younger and hungrier than they are. Knicks, they're all millionaires. They're all multimillionaires. They're all living the good life in New York City. Yeah, they win. It's great. Yada, yada. They get bounced in the first round. It's still great. All right. Atlanta's not that way. And we look at these two teams defensively when you're talking about, Alexander Walker and Dyson Daniels. That's a really good duo with Jalen Johnson, Okongwu in the low post, McCollum hitting shots at the perimeter. That McCollum-Kispert addition, it wasn't just the subtraction of Trae Young. It was the addition of that duo, both of whom have been tremendous contributors for a playoff team. And yes, some of Atlanta's success over the back half of the season was schedule related. They did face a bunch of weak opponents. But when you're talking about a full, half the season where the Hawks played winning basketball, good winning basketball, we know they can win in Madison Square Garden. We know that the Knicks can lose in Madison Square Garden. Atlanta, clear choice at the plus price.
Bang, a clear choice. Well, folks, all you have to do, comment below, Andy, if you think the Knicks are winning this series. Comment below, Teddy, if you think the Atlanta Hawks are winning this series. And when you drop that comment, include your WagerTalk username, and boom, anytime your team wins a game, you just potentially won a free 3-day flex pass. It's that easy. I'm excited. This is something we can circle back to and keep updating folks as it goes on. But let us know, who are you riding with, Hawks, Knicks? Comment below and let us know. And while you're down there commenting and hitting that like button, Teddy, why don't you tell the folks what you got rocking here tonight and as we move forward, because the NBA playoffs, that's Teddy Covers time, baby.
Yeah. And of course, we're doing free play videos just about every day. We're trying to do them every day. I can't promise every day all postseason, but I will be doing free plays for the NBA playoffs. You can see stuff up Saturday, stuff up Sunday, obviously every day next week. We're not doing Teddy's tips in the postseason. There's just not enough games, but free play videos every day on my homepage, every day at WagerTalk TV on YouTube. Locked and loaded for tonight in MLB and NBA. Check it out, WT.buzz/TC. And of course, follow me on X at Teddy_Covers.
And of course, folks, make sure you are commenting in the comments section, not the live section. Whether you're watching this on the rewatch or you're joining us live, hang out after the show or come back after the show and drop your comment there with your WagerTalk username to be entered in. Teddy, always a pleasure, brother. Thank you for coming on, and best of luck here as we move forward, Teddy.
I'll take all the luck I can get, brother. Good luck to you as well.
Thanks, my friend. Teddy Covers, WT.buzz/TC. It's where you can get those best bets. And yeah, man, I like it. Now we have a series with a little bit more intrigue we can follow in on here.
Great series pick. This is a pretty good one. So Dan, explain after the show.
Yeah. Okay. So I know it's just once the show ends, this show then becomes like a video that you can just find on YouTube, right? It's not a live stream anymore after it has posted. So once that happens, there's the ability to comment on that video. Very often when you comment on that video, Andy and I will respond to you in the comments. So after this video is done, come on back. If you're hanging out with us right after it's done, hit that refresh button, comment below with your WagerTalk username. That is how you're entered in. If it's in the chat right here, you're not entered in, folks. Chat below. And while you're down there, hit that like button and subscribe. And while they're subscribing, Andy, we asked Teddy, what do you got rocking? Because we got a lacrosse play that's up. This is going to be a big weekend for us and our team.
Our weekend starts in about 3 hours, really. We have a half-price boxing best bet that is up, 4%er. Boxing has been really pleasant surprise. Jan has done some great work on a 7-2 run. He's at 70% of his boxing play since we started posting them. It's overseas, so it starts around 3-ish. So it's half price. That's up on WagerTalk, and we have a 4% NBA best bet that goes tonight. We'll have a 4% lacrosse best bet that is at. Dan, we even have NASCAR that has already been posted. So all the sports that you can come to expect from us, that's what we have. So use the 3-day pass, get 3 free if you want to lock in. We've got UFC best bets as well. And once NBA playoffs start, you got to remember, this is the first round of the NBA and NHL playoffs. A lot of teams, a lot of players, a lot of props, a lot of team totals. Baseball has been running pretty good for us. If you just want one play, we have plays that are up at Sports Memo. We can each put up a play that's only $7. So if you want to just get one single play, that would be a good place to grab one of those plays. You don't have to get the one today because it's the Nationals team total. So for you guys watching, that is a client play for us. But go to WT.buzz/AL. There's some free plays up there. We've also got some articles posted for the NASCAR race and for UFC. So we got some good reading material. And if you want to partner up and get some plays, use that 3-day pass because you get 3 free. Takes you through most of next week. So.
Yeah, and Andy, correct me if I'm wrong. Either it's posted now or will be posted this afternoon. There's a game tonight, Big Ten action. Penn State and Rutgers are facing off in lacrosse. We're going to give that one away for free for you if you head on over to Andy's page, WT.buzz/AL. And while you're there, you can see that 50% off all the way through the end of the professional lacrosse season. So it might not be your bag, folks, but the results that we've been putting in speak for themselves. Last 30 days, 80%. This year, 74%. In lifetime here at WagerTalk with lacrosse plays for Andy, we're at 60%, just above that mark. So you can get all of these plays through the national championship, through the PLL championship for just $179, 50% off, and that's not going to last forever. So you can check out the free play at Andy's page. If you want to get on board, that's a great way to do it. So Andy, plenty of action for the folks here.
Yeah, we're going to do a modified version of Yanni's Steam Report. We'll go over all of the line moves. I'll go over UFC line moves as well. So, but we're going to get to Marco. He's going to break down some MLB games, and then we got to talk some horse racing. Marco, happy Friday.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
All is good, brother. All is good. I mean, it's finally not freezing as ass outside. Now it's just hot as ass, Marco. So I'll take it. It's a nice trade-off, man. Having to get the sunscreen out is a nice trade-off. And before we get to these MLB games, Marco, super popular on the channel already. It's almost derby time. Whenever I see these, rose trees kind of blossoming out here, I know that it's getting time for derby time. And on the page right now, you can find it over at Marco's page, but obviously on the WagerTalk YouTube channel as well. A preview getting folks ready for the derby. And this isn't the only derby content they're going to have in the coming days and weeks, Marco.
Yeah, starting, I think we're going to start doing them on Monday. I'm going to start doing some previews next week of individual horses, giving you a little tidbit, their strengths and weaknesses heading into the Derby. And then when we get to actual Derby week, we'll have our big Kentucky Derby show. Once we get the actual post positions, we want to see where everybody draws in and, who's in, and if there's anybody that is a scratch before, we know the top 20. And if you know the Kentucky Derby, only the top 20 horses can get in to the Kentucky Derby based on the point system. And there's a couple horses that are, on the outside looking in. And depending on who all ends up, because not everybody ends up going to the Derby just because they have their points, it'll slide some of those horses in. And there's a couple horses on the outside looking in that are actually better than probably half of the field. So interesting to see that final lineup for the horses. And I'm ready for the Derby week. You guys know I own horses. Had a big week with my own personal horses. We had 3 horses race this week. We had 2 wins and a second. And we had a brand new member to the family. We had a filly, the horse that I raced for years, and I also raced her mom. Sin City Lori gave birth to a filly Saturday night. So it's been a good horse week for yours truly.
Marco, all I heard was Philly, and it made me hungry for a cheesesteak. So that tells you where my brain is at right there. But I love to hear it, man. And I think it's so cool. Like that's the thing, folks, is obviously Marco, he's been a horse betting expert. It's kind of been his niche. He's won for his clients, he's won for his friends. But I think the interesting angle that you get to take of it now is as an owner as well. Like, the video that you do, if people check it out on the YouTube page, Marco's like walking around the grounds there. It's just you offer a different perspective. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Marco, it's only strengthened your horse handicapping because you just see it from a different angle.
Oh, absolutely, Dan. I mean, no disrespect to the hundreds of horse experts that are going to show up in 2 weeks.
Every year, everybody knows the ponies, man.
On Twitter, I love it. These guys don't know any, they don't look at horses all year, but they're an expert on the Kentucky Derby. I bet horses all year long. I live and breathe horses because I've raced horses since 1986. I went from racing horses to buying a farm. I bred my own horses. I still breed horses. It's been, you're getting it from somebody that knows both sides of the horse racing game, from, the window where you're placing your bets to the backside where what goes into the horses leading up, getting them ready for the Kentucky Derby and such, and understanding how the form cycles go with horses. So, I call myself an expert because I've lived it. The other guys, they're going to be an expert for 1 week. So, okay, let's go from there.
Yeah, so just come Derby week, just wt.buzz/MD and just leave it in the upper left-hand corner. That's where you want to be come Derby week and beyond when we're talking Triple Crown, Belmont Stakes, all that good stuff. All right, let's talk about some action going today, Marco. And very often, I like to refer to let the line lead the way. A lot of the times these lines, especially totals in baseball, they can kind of tell a story of what a matchup is to be or what a matchup could be expected. Now, the Rangers, they're taking on the Seattle Mariners, and we're looking at a total that is around 6.5. We got DeGrom and Gilbert. Kind of makes sense why you're seeing that low of a total, but these hitting matchups or these hitting lineups have also left a little bit to be desired. So, Marco, this 6.5, it feels low. Is it low for a reason, though?
Oh, that's absolutely low for a reason. And, you forgot the biggest part. It's an American League game at 6.5. We see National League games, that'll put up a number like this, but you don't see it too often in the American League. And, there's a couple things going here. You've got a great pitching matchup with Jacob deGrom and Logan Gilbert. But let's look at the schematics of the game. Let's start with Texas. Texas is playing their 8th consecutive road game. Okay. Yep. So it's a 3-city road trip. They have not had a day off. All right. So this is the 8th consecutive day that they've played. Both teams played yesterday. Both teams have to travel to Seattle. Now, the only difference is Texas played a day game. Seattle played a night game. So you give a slight edge to Texas in that regard, travel-wise. But then we look at the two pitchers, and this is where we separate whether we're looking at the side or we're looking at the total. deGrom, his first start of the year, he had a rough outing. And you see that a lot of times with quality pitchers, but they come out of spring training, they had limited innings, and they don't do well in their first outing. Look at the last year's National League Cy Young winner, Paul Skeens. He got absolutely bounced in the first inning in his first start. Since then, he's been solid. Well, deGrom's done the same thing. His last 2 starts, he's allowed just 2 runs over 11 innings. But the buy sign is the fact he had a season high on strikeouts. I'm old school. Strikeouts and walks are one of the most simplest stats to look at. But to me, that tells me if you got control, if you're not walking batters, and if you're striking batters out, you've got your best stuff because you're fooling the hitters. And he had a season high in his last start. So that lends to tell me he's going to have another good outing here. Then let's look at Logan Gilbert. He's pitched back-to-back gems. He's allowed just 3 runs over his last 13 innings, and he's had a 12-1 strikeout-to-walk ratio. Again, that tells me he's going to have another good outing. And I, use a horse reference here. I really do look at starting pitchers and look at their box scores and what they've done from start to start. I consider it just like I read the racing form with horses, guys. Horses come in and out of form cycles. Pitchers do the same things, and that's the way I look at them. So I'm expecting a good outing from both. Now, with that said, I got a couple interesting stats that also lends to the under here. Seattle this year, now this line's floating right around this number, maybe a little bit outside it, depending where you're looking at what book, but we see this game anywhere from -125 to -130. In games this season where Seattle has been in the competitive price, and I call that +125 to -125 zone, they've had 9 games in that price range. They're averaging, guys, in those 9 games, 1.9 runs per game, just 1.9. And if you couple that with Logan Gilbert going back to the start of the 2024 season, when he's pitching at home and is installed as a favorite of 150 or less, 12-1 to the under. Low total, as you said, telling a story. I go inside the numbers. I'm confirming that story. There's only one way for me to go tonight. We're taking Texas-Seattle under 6.5 runs.
Yeah, I love the breakdown, letting the line lead the way, and then dive in a bit deeper there. Well, Marco, if folks are interested in a good pitching matchup, that's the game to watch. If you're interested in seeing a guy that just gets absolutely shelled because the Toronto Blue Jays have no one else to put out there because they have no Berrios, no Bieber, no Yasevich, no Ponce. So now we send Eric Lauer and his near 8 ERA to the mound to oppose arguably outside of the Padres, hottest team in baseball here with the Arizona Diamondbacks, who anytime you think they're dead, a comeback is looming. This one, if the game before is a formulaic under, Marco, this Toronto Blue Jays, Arizona Diamondbacks game, Diamondbacks could hit 9 runs by themselves in this one. What do you say?
Yeah, sometimes, you just don't overthink things. And this is one of those games where I'm not going to overthink it. Now, I will point out that Arizona's returning home. They just finished up a 3-city East Coast road trip. You know that I generally like to go against teams returning home from a road trip, especially a long road trip, and especially if it's a West Coast team returning from the East Coast or vice versa. Well, obviously, for Arizona, they played the Mets, Philadelphia, and Baltimore. So, that's as East Coast as you can get there. So they're in a negative spot. So right off the bat, if I were going to take a side, I would lean to the Toronto side. But given the form of Eric Lauer, it's kind of hard to grab the Toronto side. I still lean to them, but I'm going to look to the total more. And let's just start with Eric Lauer. My God, this guy is in 3 starts. He's allowed 11 runs in 12 innings of work. His strikeout to walk ratio, where I just told you about some good guys, in his last 2 starts, his strikeout to walk ratio's 8-3. Unfortunately, the 8 is the walks, okay? And it's the 3 is the strikeouts. That is just absolutely horrible. You can't keep putting base runners on. I always say you put base runners on, bad things are going to happen. And now you're going to a hitter-friendly ballpark. It could just really escalate quickly. So why overthink it? Now you're going to say, hey, Toronto was held to 1 run in back-to-back games. Milwaukee had a little different pitching staff than we're going to see here in this matchup. Prior to those 2 games where they were back-to-back scores of 2-1, Toronto had 4 straight overs. And I think that's going to happen again here. Arizona, you want to talk about a little Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde? They've played 12 night games this season. The over in the night games is 8-4. They've played 6 day games. It's 1-5 to the over. So definitely they like scoring runs under the lights. I'm going to go ahead and look at this and take the over here. As I said, I do lean to the Toronto side as well. You might want to put a half unit on Toronto, but I think the better play here is the over. We're seeing 8.5s and 9s. Obviously, you can still grab an 8.5. That's the best way to go. But I like it still over at 9. And the difference in here, when you're looking at betting totals, if you're getting the worst of a half a run, always make sure that the worst of the half a run puts you in a position to push instead of win, instead of a loss on that half a run. The difference between 8.5 and 9, if we're taking, the over, if we don't get there with the 9 and it lands on 9, obviously you push. So that's just one thing to always remember when you're betting totals. If you're missing that half a run, make sure that the worst that can happen to you is a push.
Yeah, and I know that Lauer is obviously the story of the pitching issues here in this game, but I know that Soroka hasn't really faced off against the Blue Jays all that often, only twice since 2019, but in his career, given up over 5 earned runs on average in those starts too. So love the breakdown there, Marco. I'm with you on both of those totals, so let that not be the kiss of death for you. Hopefully that just means we're cashing 2 here tonight. Speaking of cashing, man, what do you got rocking here as we head on into the weekend? NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. I know you're super selective on the ice there as well, and MLB keeps chugging along, Marco. So what are folks going to find over at your page?
Oh, guys, we keep saying super selective, and I am, but now we're into the postseason, and I can be a little more, put a little more volume out simply because I don't have to guess on who's playing or who's taking a night off and so forth. You're getting everybody's best shot every night. And guys, here's the deal. NHL, since 2021, we're number 1 in money won at WagerTalk. In the NBA, since 2020, we're number 2 in money won. So you're getting a 1-2 punch there. And how about baseball? Well, I have been ultra selective to start the season. Only 11 plays, but we've cashed 8 of them. So you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to give you 2 offers. Get all of my plays. All right. If you want to go short term and you want the best deal, buy 3 days, get 3 days free. 3-day package is $69. You're going to get a bonus 3 days. That gets you 6 days total for $69. All sports, all plays. You want an even better deal? We're running a deal where you can get everything in every sport, any extra I have, in talking, what are those like extras that I might have? Well, it's going to be all those horse races. It's going to be the Triple Crown races. It's going to be the big races this summer. The Jim Dandy, the Haskell, the Pacific Classic. It doesn't end with the Triple Crown. You're going to get every play I give my clients throughout the summer up to the end of August as we get ready to kick off football season. That's just $749 for everything. That's the best way to go, guys, if you want to lock in everything for the entire stretch of the dog days of summer in the NHL and NBA playoffs, and, of course, baseball as well. So take short term or go long term. Either way, hope you climb aboard. We're running hot right now, and I'd love to have you aboard.
Marco, friend of the show, Rob, was curious about your thoughts on sovereignty versus journalism tomorrow if you don't have a client play on it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take a look at that race. It's a short field with two monsters in the field. This is one of those ones, generally, the tendency with trainer Bill Mott is he generally doesn't have his horses ready to fire on first asking, off a layoff. But this is such a big race. He definitely, trained this horse up to it. I think Sovereignty is the better horse for sure. But just going with the trainers, I don't know that this horse is going to be ready to be uncorked with a monster effort. And if journalism is going to get a chance to beat him, it's this time on Saturday is going to be his best shot to do it.
All right, and Marco, we like to have fun with all the handicappers on social media. It's a very special time of year. It's a very special season. So on social media, Marco, horse racing is my best sports season.
Never fails.
Isn't it great now that with AI you can generate all these good-looking graphics, and you're an expert now. It's just like I would love to get one of these guys that pops out and just have a one-on-one and just start asking them horse questions and just see the the deer caught in headlights look when you them, hey, blinkers on, blinkers off. What's that equipment change mean? What's it do? Different things. So that's the difference of and I laugh, and I'm sure there's going to be some guy with a suitcase. Those are the ones I really love. The guys with the suitcase going into the sports books and we're just betting $500,000 on a game every day. I'm sure you saw that last weekend with the Masters when he bet Rory. There was a guy that bet Rory after Friday. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Listen, every 4 years, I am an amazing judge at gymnastics. And then every 4 years, I'm an amazing judge at figure skating. Every 4 years, I become an Olympic master at judging and scoring. So, yeah. All right, Marco. Thank you very much. Good luck. I know it's a big week for horse racing. Pulling for you. Have a good week, man.
And don't forget, we will have the deli. Forgot to mention the deli, guys.
Yep.
That'll be up later today. And we're going to be focusing what you can expect with the deli right now. The main focus is going to be hockey and NBA playoffs. I'll give you some of both because we always will be able to do that on Friday, give you a Saturday or Sunday game because they don't play back-to-back days. So we get a break in there and I can give you a game. So definitely follow the deli. That's been great. And I appreciate all you guys that have been helping build that channel with the deli. The deli's expanding. Maybe we'll have to start having more locations across the country. Franchises are available. Contact me.
I like it. I love it, Marco.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Thank you,
brother. Thank you.
You too.
Franchise.
Yeah, good one. Curling expert. Every 4 years,
every 8 years. Yeah, every 8 years, we're curling experts. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna do all around the world. We can do some line moves and such. So I will share the screen here, Dan, and we'll go through. We'll go to Odds Logic here and some movement here. It looks like a little bit on Boston, but again, these are late games, so these line moves really don't tell you a whole lot. You're going to have to wait
Exactly.
until about an hour before the game so I can share with you what we see here on Odds Logic. Obviously, to the surprise of nobody, the Dodgers are going to be really, really big favorites here. It does look like Oakland took a little bit. I saw your Phillies has flipped to the favorite, so they like your Phillies today, Dan.
Okay.
So,
All
yeah,
right. Well, good luck.
Atlanta Open is the favorite. I would say that's by far the biggest one, and it looks like there's some good movement on the Giants and the Nats to go over. It opened at 7.5. That thing's already up to 8.5. Let's hope the Nationals. Let's hope the Nationals can contribute a lot to that over. So we're going to go over some MLB betting stats. Once again, the Yankees on this unbelievable slide on run line. I mean, how many people got burned on that yesterday, Dan? They're playing the Angels in a bullpen game. Max Fried is on the mound, and then Fried promptly gets shelled, and you end up with a disaster. So let's take a look at run line. The Diamondbacks just and the Padres won't stop covering these run lines.
Yeah,
They're
unreal.
They're really, really impressive, and the Yankees by far the biggest losers at this point. So. You know what's crazy though on the run line? On the year, the Yankees are 8-11, but they're like 1-10, like just recently. So it's just like incredible.
Been a rough run for sure.
Yeah, we can go look at who's been red hot on the game total overs. I looked at this earlier, so I know the Cubs are the only team with 5 straight covers on that one. And who's hot? Again, the Cubs, 8-1-1. Not really a team that's really going super low. The Royals a little bit, but the Cubs are the team that their games are going over. So are the Angels. So those are the ones.
The Angels are battling, man.
Yeah. Just listen. When they have Mike Trout, they got to do as much damage as they possibly can because
until he's inevitably injured. Yes,
and then the wheels just fall off. So we'll go over UFC here. I can pull up some of these lines. There's a couple interesting feel-good stories coming off this Canada line. Jamie Siraj and John Yanis. I think we all may be missing this Jamie Siraj. So if you don't know Jamie Siraj's story. He was a really good up-and-coming prospect, and in 2019, he got really, really sick, and this is what he looked like at one point. They didn't think he was going to make it. He was in a coma.
Jesus.
Yeah, that guy's fighting in the UFC now. Miraculous. Yeah, he was in a coma for this, and he is a really, really good fighter. He came back. He's already won a couple fights. And they're serving him up a softball here. John Yanis is not very good. So I'm surprised that more money hasn't come in. I think it's just because a lot of people don't know the story. So Jamie Siraj is a pick there. Castaneda Vlogging, not much moving there. I have no strong opinion on that one. Curious line move here. JJ Aldridge took a little bit of money. I'm wondering if this is a false move. We saw it yesterday in PFL. There was a fighter, Yags versus Pedro. Money comes in on Tyson Pedro, and you're thinking, wow, why is that? He's not very good. And then Yags goes through the roof the day of. I think Horth is going to take a lot of money tomorrow. So if you want to take Horth, you might want to get down on it now. So Croden and Daria, they're both evenly matched. Croden taking a little bit of money. Saracom and Bozer. Bozer is fighting on this card because he's from Canada, but he's kind of a pain in the ass to work with. He refuses fights. He got cut from UFC for making fun of The Rock, and The Rock works closely with UFC.
Crazy reason to get fired.
Well, he also sucks. He also doesn't win very many fights. That's another reason. But Saracom's kind of a Bellator cast off. No opinion on that one. Robert Valentin is starting to take money. Julian LeBlanc is the guy that I'm circling as the only reason he is on this card is because he's Canadian. He's got a big mouth. He draws big though, and he's terrible. He's an awful fighter. I love Valentin. I could go into detail. Valentin basically was on The Ultimate Fighter, and he was fantastic. Then he lost his first 3 UFC fights because they gave him just brutal matchups, and I think they're giving him a softball. They don't want him to go 0-4. So. Barbosa's taking a little bit of money. I would just be a little bit cautious on that. If Barbosa doesn't get the first round knockout, he's live to get finished. Not much on Moises Young, Jasmine. That line is standing still, and that's curious because a lot of people like Jasmine. I haven't heard very many people on Karina Silva, and that line has stayed there. That is kind of a red flag. This is one of those, like in football season when like 80% of the tickets are on one team and yet the line doesn't move. You're like, oh no. Yeah. Oh no. So Mandel Nalo just took a little bit of money. He's one of my favorite fighters on this card. I love him in this matchup. Kyler Phillips, Jourdain is staying the same. And I agree with this line move. Gilbert Burns is taking money. And this is curious because Mike Malott is the Canadian, he's the big Canadian fighter there. And he was a big favorite. And I would have thought most people would be on him. But this is a pretty big line movement. I mean, Mike Malott was around minus 310 earlier this week. He's now down to minus 258. So that's not nothing, as they would say. So I would be, I have no play on that fight. I leaned Burns just because I really like the line, and Mike Malott's got really bad cardio issues. But I would be concerned if you're holding a Mike Malott ticket. Not much you can do about it now. Just cross your fingers and hope that he can pull off the win.
Yeah, pray.
Just pull off your fingers. So Michael, what happened to him? So he got sick, and then he went into a coma, and then he went into sepsis. And they didn't think he was going to live. And not only did he live, that man is fighting in the UFC. So pretty amazing story for him. So
it's pretty badass.
And also, if you bet on him, don't you have? It's a feel good story. You feel good.
It really is
betting on that guy.
Really is.
So
exactly, you're like riding with the man on his journey. I like it. Andy.
Yes, yeah. So all right, let's do all around the world, and then we are done for Friday. We got some.
Do it. I put the right one up on first try, Andy. Let's go, baby.
It's going to be a good weekend, Dan. All right, we're going to go to the. Listen, I am ready to get duped by this line, but why are the Mets? Why is the team total 4.5? It was 2.5 the other day. I went back and looked. They got 8 of the 9 batters today are the same ones that they've had. Cabrera's been pretty good. He gave up 3 runs last game, but he shut out the previous 2 teams. I don't understand the 4.5, but I'm fine by looking like a fool if the Mets go off. I just don't think this number should be 5.5. NASCAR, Ty Gibbs, top 10. He won the race last week. That is 6 straight top 6 finishes. He finished 5th at Las Vegas. That's another cookie cutter track like this one. And you got a couple cars that normally finish in the top 10 are really struggling this year. And he's got one of the better cars, and he's on one of the better teams. So there's that one. And then an NBA series prop that struck my eye, Reed Shepherd, most threes in that Rockets series. He's plus 100. The nearest person is Luke Kennard at plus 450. Reed Shepherd is making 2 to 3 per game. I just don't see any other 3-point, specialists in there. It's not LeBron. KD's not taking very many threes. He's looking for the mid-range and getting to the cup. So I think plus 100 on Reed Shepherd at most threes is pretty interesting. Listen, if it's Luke Kennard, fine. I lose to Luke Kennard. So NBA, somebody asked about NBA line movement. I'll do that real quick. I don't think I've really seen much. The line is holding strong on Charlotte.
Steady. I mean, you had that the Phoenix Suns move, and then it's basically just settled in there as far as the daily games. But have you seen anything else?
Cleveland has moved a point and a half, but you're around the 7 and 8 mark.
Yeah.
So I can't say that's a big move. Denver moved a point to 6.5, but there's still 6s that are out there. And New York is 5.5. Houston is 5.5. Nothing really major. They really haven't hit much. Your 76ers are 12.5 point dogs. That's a shame, Dan.
I mean, does it really surprise you? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll play them tight. So I did see. Let me just make sure that my numbers are correct. Yes. So the Sixers have never beaten the Celtics in a series in which they didn't have Julius Erving or Wilt Chamberlain. And I checked the roster. Wilt and Julius Erving will not be available for this series. So, that take that for what
injury
you will.
Report.
I was hoping they would maybe get on there, but no, they will not be available for the series against the Celtics. So, are they going to rewrite history? Probably not.
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
So, I can't tell you what a surreal feeling it is to be a Pacers fan and know like we're going for the number 1 draft pick and watching the Celtics. They get their superstar back and they're going for an NBA title.
That's how it goes.
Insane.
That's how it goes. Hey, you'll always
Yeah.
have Indiana football, Andy. Always have 2025 Indiana football, baby.
That'll happen. That'll happen. Shout out to Burnt Peanut. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Please hit the like button. Make sure you comment right after the show is over. Andy or Teddy, depending on if you agree with the Knicks or the Hawks in that series. And remember, every time one of our games wins, we're going to give away a 3-day pass. Let's hope for a 7-game series in that one. So, all right. Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate you guys. It's been a great week. Thank you to all the guests. Good luck on your bets. We'll be here again on Monday, recap the weekend, and we're going to be giving out some more free plays. Good luck on your bets. Let's have a big weekend. Talk to you later.